in the area near Savy. Now on the 30th of December he was in for his 4th mission, and his target was strafing a German convoy, possibly heading towards Foy on the N30, which is the road going from Foy to Nviv. Now Crick said, well, they had told us that the Germans were carrying anti-aircraft guns with them. So you had to be very careful. So in our charge and attacking them, we had to stay as low as possible. And he said we started our mission flying, and I kept my aircraft very, very low over the tree. I was flying over the trees, coming from that direction, over Bizary, that direction, heading over the Bois Jacques, slow as possible. And I could hear the rotators chop up the trees like a to stay low so the Germans couldn't see me. Once I got over the woods, I could see the ground sloping down to the main road where the tank convoy was. So I had to dive into the valley, fire my missiles, and I pull up as quickly as possible, not to fly into the explosion, into the fire. So he said I fired my rounds, I pulled up, I looked to my left, I could see Bastogne was to my left. I pulled up, I moved away from the explosions, and I noticed my left wing, it has a huge hole in it, like this. And the ammunition belt from the machine gun was dangling out of the aircraft. And all suddenly, the machine became unsteerable, unstable. So the only thing I could do was just abandon the aircraft. Now today, you only have to push a button and off you go. But back then, you had to open your aircraft, unbutton, get up, and throw yourself out of the plane. So what happened is when he took the roof off, the pressure of the wind kind of pressed him to the back of the seat, which made it very hard for him to get out. So he tried to stabilize his aircraft, go as slow as possible, took the roof off, and he managed to climb on a chair and kind of throw himself out. And when he went out of the aircraft, his leg hit the tail part of the plane, and he could hear it snap like in the air. But he kind of pulled the chute, and we talk about 300 meters, 400 meters height. So he went down, and then he felt his leg snap, and he could feel the pain setting in already. But the chute opened, like count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, bang! He was on the ground, in the middle of the snow in a plain open field. His plane continued and crashed about a couple of 100 yards further away. But he was there, and then the parachute came down on him, landed on top of him, so he was under that chute, wide parachute in the snow. And not knowing what was going on, but now his legs started hurting more, getting numb a little bit, and he kind of peeked out of the from under the parachute, and he looked at the tree line on one side, and he could see our Americans like walking up, like looking, because they saw him come down. And these guys were like waving at him, like, stay down. So he stayed under his parachute and started to crawl with a broken leg towards the tree line. When all of a sudden a few of the guys ran out of the woods, took the chute away, grabbed him in his armpits, and kind of dragged him back into the woods. They put him against a tree, and they simply put a rifle in his hand, like, use this. Germans are down there. And he was like, my leg's broken. But they kept him there for about 3-4 hours until they evacuated him back to the seminary school in Bastogne, where the medic looked after him, and he said, what's your problem? He said, I think my leg's broken. And he kicked it against his leg. He goes, ow, you fuck! And then the medic goes like, yeah, it's broken. So they kind of gave him first aid, patched him up, and then wanted to transfer him back to evacuate him back to England. But he kind of bribed one of the officers there, because Craig was still wearing his pistol on him. He said, I see that you don't have a gun, so you can have this if you change my flight plan. So he kind of bribed him, and they flew him back to France, where he rejoined his unit, healed from his broken leg, and rejoined his unit. Now, one of the guys who witnessed Harry Crick come down was Bob Izumi. As being G Company, Bob was dug in right here. Yeah. And what we believe, because Bob he's so clear that he witnessed, he saw that chute come down. He said he even knows Craig by now. So we're quite sure that where Craig landed with his parachute was right down there in the field. And the plane crashed a bit further between this place and the Fazone Woods towards Monaville. That's where it came down. So Harry Crick kind of landed right there in the field. The Germans occupying Raconia, and the guys that got him out of there were G Company guys.
Did he came back to Bastogne?
Craig, I don't know. I never met him in person.
Should be nice to have him.
Yeah. And Bob remembered well that story. So the
Yeah.
plane crashed a bit further and Craig totally landed right here in the field. Tree line a bit further, that field through the woods, and we're corny. Boom, no man's land.
Amazing story.
Yeah. Good old Bob. Huh?
Good old,
Okay.